Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Chaos and devastation. We're getting a clearer picture into what sent dozens of gas canisters flying into the air in Clinton Township. One of them hitting and killing a 19-year-old a quarter-mile away.
The police and fire that were responding were under fire.
Now the cleanup begins as both officials and area residents say somebody needs to be held accountable.
In fact, there are two key points to make as we come on the air here at 5 o'clock about the fire and the explosions last night in Clinton Township.
First, I answered a ton of calls into the newsroom last night, people concerned about the air quality, and we've learned there's no threat to the air quality from all of those explosions, and the fire has not impacted drinking water in the surrounding area.
That fire happened in an industrial area, 15 Mile and Groesbeck. That 19-year-old innocent bystander hit and killed by a projectile from a quarter of a mile away on 15 Mile Road.
Yeah, take a look at this video from Sky 4 showing the chaos last night as fire crews struggled to get a handle on the fire because of those flying canisters. Officials say they found debris 2 miles away, and if you do find one of those canisters, you need to call the township right away.
Yeah, this is what it looks like right now.
Oh.
Live pictures from Drone 4 over select distributors. You see the building is pretty much gone, and there's debris everywhere beyond the building's footprint.
Yeah, we have multiple reporters on this story tonight. Pamela Osborne is out with neighbors tracking the cleanup, and investigator Karen Drew is working to get answers into whether this business was permitted to store those gas canisters.
Let's start things off here at 5, though, with Rod Maloney. We had officials there in Macomb County. Just give us an update in the past hour, Rod.
Yeah, Devin, it's a situation where they have a local state of emergency in effect. They've got the Michigan State Police bomb squad out here, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms helping with the investigation. Firefighters, as you saw, still pouring water on the scene. We heard the last explosion just after noontime today at the scene when they started putting that water onto it. And one of the odd things that we saw out there is that people have come to the site, and before there was a lot of security, they were running around collecting the unspent canisters, picking them up and putting them in their cars. City says, bad idea. The explosive fire's fury attracted everyone's attention. Cell phones at the ready. The non-stop blasts left everyone wondering what was burning. Yet in the dark, onlookers could not see the sharp, molten shrapnel landing around them until it hit the ground, the fire acting like a civilian ammo dump. In the daylight, this is all that's left of the former Save-A-Lot grocery. Early investigation showed hundreds of illegal, flammable containers inside Goose Select Distributors, a marijuana supply storefront. And we saw people picking up canisters at the fire scene, something Township Manager Bob Cannon says is a very bad idea.
If you go take a look at some of the buildings where they're embedded in the building or in the roofs of buildings in the area, you don't want those in your car or in your home or near any family members. Please don't do it.
None of the half semi-load of these canisters were approved by the city's building department, and they say that no one even knew that they were there. And as onlookers gathered a quarter of a mile away at the car wash last night, the heavy, invisible shrapnel slammed into a young man's head. Fire Chief Tim Duncan saying it's clear there could very easily have been more than one fatality and one firefighter injured.
The fact that there was no other major injury or somebody passing on that scene, somebody was looking out for us.
Now, we want to thank Abdul Kalami, Sarah Cooper, and Joe Lambert for their phone video we just showed you. But now you're looking at drone video of the scene, the old Save-A-Lot grocery there now that is basically in rubble. One of the things that is difficult to see when you're looking at pictures like this is the fact that these canisters are not light. When we found them quite literally bent in half, and you go to move one or even pick it up, it weighed several pounds. This was serious, serious business. And in fact, the chief said in the briefing this afternoon that it was like a war zone, and he was not kidding. Devin, Kim, back to you.
Looked at so much jaw-dropping video and pictures all day, but you've been there all day. I'm curious about what has struck you the most of what you've seen.
Well, the sharp edges on those heavy pieces, but take a look at this, Devin. This is a knife that we found at the scene. This is a Batman-themed knife. They had a whole lot of these with the blades stuck out. These were flying around every bit as much as those canisters. They were all over the place. We found this one on the ground, but there we have pictures of them on roofs and so forth. This was exceptionally dangerous business out there last night.
You couldn't design a weapon to be more horrific than what we're seeing here. It's amazing stuff. Yeah. All right, Rod. So the big question now moves us to how in the world did all of this happen? How was it allowed to happen? Were there rules broken?
And for that part of the story, let's bring in Local 4 investigator Karen Drew. What exactly did you find out?
Well, Kim and Devin, we did do some digging, and accusations are flying tonight. As we have learned, that business was not approved to store gases. Now, the Clinton Township supervisor, Bob Cannon, says there will be repercussions. At issue, butane canisters, Cannon says, were illegally in that building. So this is what we know so far. The Township, Fire, Building and Planning departments described the business GOO LLC as doing what it was not supposed to be doing.
Had we known the containers were in the back room, we would have issued violations immediately and worked to get them out of there.
Clinton Township leadership making it clear they had no idea this business was storing gases. Gases they say the business had no permit to have at the quantities that were in there. Local 4 investigators learning the owners of GOO LLC and Select Distributors started the process for a permit to do business in April of 2022. In September of 2022, the township says it gave the owners a permit for a storefront business. At that time, an inspection was done. They found a retail business with a back room for storage. So the business passed inspection. The township had not inspected since. Authorities are accusing the owners of acting outside what they were approved for. A truckload of butane had been delivered within the past week, and more than 100,000 vape pens were inside the business at the time of the explosions and fire.
The persons who applied for permits to do something that we thought they were going to do, which was legal, but ended up doing something that is clearly not only illegal, but immoral and dangerous.
Dangerous and deadly. Still so many questions tonight, including how much of these gases were actually inside the building. Investigators saying the owner is cooperating with the investigation. By the way, we looked up records and discovered Noor Kestu is listed as the owner of GOO and Select Distributors. Then we looked him up on LARA. That's the State Department of Licensing. State records show he owns smoke shops in several Metro Detroit cities, including Livonia, Novi, Waterford, Ypsilanti. We are digging on this story, trying to get records on all of this. We'll keep you posted. You obviously can expect more coverage on exactly what went wrong in Clinton Township.
Tons more to come in this vein.
But you don't file for a permit and then not follow exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as investigators search for answers, folks living around that area are surveying the damage, and there's plenty of it.
You've seen these canisters basically turned into missiles, hitting everything from fire trucks to fences to people. For that part of the story, let's get to Pamela Osborne. Look at this landscape that is behind Pamela right now. You look like you're on some kind of strange planet, Pam.
And it kind of feels that way, too. You know, we were out here last night and there were hundreds of people who were drawn to this area, really as close as they could get by the sound and the feel of those explosions. They just wanted to see for themselves. And now you can see for yourself. This is all that's left of that business. Even a few minutes after noon today, we felt and heard yet another explosion. There isn't much left of that building where it all started. But I want you now to take a look at the ground. These exploded container parts were raining down, causing damage, and even killed a man, as Rod mentioned, who was a quarter of a mile away from here when he was hit.
Biggest problem is the very sharp pieces of metal. When the canister blows up, it doesn't blow on the seams. It blows very jagged, they're sharp.
We saw and heard of pieces of sharp, twisted metal in full canisters even, punching through fences, landing on businesses and in neighborhoods.
Couldn't believe it, and imagine all kinds of things when you see that.
Dan Howery lives less than a mile away from the epicenter of those explosions.
The whole sky was lit up, and then that went on for probably an hour and 15, 20 minutes.
He says people came out to his street to watch it all play out. Before it was over, the bomb squad was there too, after some of the debris landed just a few doors down.
It was a projectile, about that much sticking out of the ground.
And this is what he meant by projectile. You can see these containers all over the place, some of them small, some of them even have the name goo on the side, others larger and intact really, and other pieces, as you can see, just completely torn to shreds. Now, I want to draw your attention here to this business. You can see the damage to the side of it there. That is from some of that exploded material debris that came out of here. We actually got a look at the damage inside. We'll bring you that story tonight at 6 o'clock. For now, reporting live in Clinton Township, I'm Pamela Osborne, Local 4.
How there was only one fatality in this, given what you've shown us, what Rod was showing, it's absolutely stunning. Yeah. All right, Pam, our coverage of the fire will continue over this next 90 minutes of news and on clickondetroit.com.
Just scan the QR code right there on your screen and you can find in-depth coverage on multiple angles to this tragic fire. That includes what we know about the business, where the investigation stands, and everything we know about the young life lost last night.
And as Rod mentioned, you have been helping us tell this story by sharing your videos on My Picks. Matthew Skursky posted this video from his house very close to 15 Mile in Garfield. We've posted a link on how to join the My Picks right now on our homepage at clickondetroit.com. Keep them coming.
All right, breaking news right now. After 61 years in law enforcement, Warren's top cop is out. Commissioner Bill Dwyer had been planning to retire in mid-April, but says he was told earlier today that this would be his last day on the job. It's not uncommon for new mayors to replace people who were appointed to leadership roles under previous administrations. So this isn't an unusual move, we want to point out. But Mayor Lori Stone tells us Charles Rushton will serve as the acting interim police commissioner while she searches for a permanent replacement.
End of a long era of such a familiar face in Southeast Michigan law enforcement. Our other top story here at 5, jury selection is underway in the trial of James Crumbley, the father of the Oxford school shooter.
The judge kicked off the process today in Pontiac with no cameras allowed in the courtroom. Sean Lay is live at the courthouse for us tonight. Sean, just kind of tell us, bring us up to speed where things stand in the process here.
Long process today, just day one. We literally just walked out the door here, the judge sending the potential jurors home. Be back here at 9 a.m. But let's get right to it. This is the second trial of its kind, as you know, of a parent being held responsible for a mass shooting, something that their child played a part in or did. So we're talking about the horrific Oxford school shooting of Hannah St. Juliana, Justin Schilling, Tate Meir, Madison Baldwin at Oxford High School at the hands of James Crumbley's son. Now, prosecutors say they will again show that the gun was purchased by James Crumbley, the father, not secured in the Crumbley home by James Crumbley. Crumbley's wife was found guilty just weeks ago, as you know, on the very same charges. Jury selection intense this afternoon. The attorney for Crumbley making a line between parenting and kids, keeping things from their parents, not knowing what their kids are up to, separating that from what Crumbley's son did actually inside the high school the day of the shooting. That drew objections late today from Karen McDonald, Oakland County prosecutor, saying Crumbley himself was actually inside the school the day of the shooting. At issue, she says if Crumbley exercised proper care in parenting his son, it could have been foreseeable about what his son was about to do. Most of the questions here about guns. The jurors saying that they had guns and they secured guns. They had no problem with guns, no problem with law enforcement. More of those same questions to follow tomorrow. A long process, but an important process, guys.
Following it all. Okay, Sean, we appreciate it.